Hi, this is Kevin Sharp from Kevin Sharp Outdoors, and I wasn't planning on making this video today. I was planning on doing some reviews. I probably still will do them, but I had to make this video response today from the California shootings involving a Elliot Rodger. First off, before I start this video, I'd like to apologize to the family of the victims who were killed or injured in this shooting spree. And I just, I couldn't imagine the pain that they're going through right now. I wouldn't want to. I'm a father myself. I have a beautiful little 3-year-old boy and 3 beautiful stepchildren, and I just couldn't imagine the horror of that. One of a father of one of the victims made some comments on CBS News today that I seen, and like I said, I want to apologize. I know that you're going through a lot of pain and everything, but once you throw your hat into this arena, to me it's fair game. So you did that yourself. I'm sorry. He made some comments about gun control with politicians, NRA, gun owners. And during that, he said that his son had a right to life. And I absolutely agree with him. Your son did have a right to life. So he gets that from the Declaration of Independence, the unalienable rights. You have a right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But here's the thing that a lot of people want to ignore. Inferred in that document is that you have the right to defend that life. You have the right to defend your liberty. And you have the right to defend your pursuit of happiness. A lot of people forget that. I guess if I was, knowing how he feels in his progressive line of thinking, I would ask you this: if let's just say that your son is if your son had a gun and could have defended his life, would you, as his father, have condoned it, or would you have condemned it? If he was standing face to face with this monster again, if he could go back in time and be armed, had a gun to defend himself, would have rather him defended his life and probably defended the lives of others, saved lives by doing what he had to do defending himself? Or would you have condemned him to keep his gun in his holster and let this evil person kill him? As a parent, I know how I feel about it. I would have condoned it. I would have told my son, you did what you had to do. You defended your life, and you probably saved the lives of other people by killing this guy. I know it's a terrible burden to bear, knowing that you had to kill someone else, but in my opinion, and the way I look at it is that you had no choice in the matter. He took the choice away from you when he pulled his weapon on you. I don't know if this father would have condoned it or condemned it, but I know that I would like to see my son tomorrow. I would, want to talk to my son tomorrow. The media, of course, as the interview went on, they interviewed some politicians and everything, and they started talking about him being mentally ill and all this and that. This man was not mentally ill. I get tired of hearing this argument. And here's my reason why I say that. A mentally ill person is someone whose mind, whose brain is so messed up that it actually even affects their physical well-being. Those kinds of people, no, they do not. They don't need to own a gun. They don't. This man, Mr. Roger, had a plan, had a manifesto, and made YouTube videos about what he was going to do. It got to a point to where his family members apparently called the police, and the police came and did a welfare check on him. And he stated in his manifesto, apparently, that if the police did their job. They interviewed him. They determined that, hey, we don't see anything here that leads us to be concerned about it. I mean, maybe concerned, but he isn't showing any signs that we think merits any further action. He says if they would have just come into his apartment and checked his apartment, it would have ended it right then. Why is that? Because he had planned it out. There was evidence all in that apartment that he had a plan. And he carried it out in a very vile, evil way. See, progressives want to label all of these mass shooters as mentally ill for their agenda. And their agenda is they want to take away our Second Amendment rights. They want to take away your right to self-defense. To me, Mr. Roger was just an evil person. And that's how I'm going to label them from now on. I'm not going to call these people mentally ill anymore. They're not. They're just evil. Pure evil. Every one of these mass shooters, from Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold in Columbine, to Adam Lanza in Sandy Hook, James Holmes, this guy, every one of them had a train of thought. They had a plan, and they carried it out each and every time. All Second Amendment people should start labeling these people as evil, not mentally ill, because the agenda for the progressives is to do this. The reason they want to do that is this, and there's consequences as well. They want to take, such as even myself, people who go to the doctor because, something happens in their life and they get depressed. They get, really sad about something, And people who have no intentions of going on a shooting spree or hurting anyone else or even hurting themselves in some instances, they go to a doctor to get help, and those doctors prescribe something like Zoloft, something like Paxil, whatever, It's just to help them get through it. But see, the progressives want to take that little chunk of your life, that little piece of your life, whatever it was, whether it be a relative dying, a friend dying, marriage ending or something like that, divorce, and they want to take that one little smidge of your life and let it define the rest of it. They want to be able to go back and say, you were on Paxil right here, or you were on Zoloft right here, or you were on some other antidepressant. You can't buy a gun, even though you're perfectly fine now. Even though you were perfectly fine then. But you can bet your bottom dollar that James Holmes is going to use the same thing, because that's what the media does. The media, is the progressives' lapdog. The progressives are going to keep this up, and he's going to get off. You watch, because of mental defect, the insanity. He's going to get off for it. You can count on it. He's going to be sitting nice and cushy in a mental hospital somewhere, getting a sponge bath from a nurse every day, instead of sitting in a prison or an electric chair, which he should be in, or strapped to a gurney with a needle in his arm like he should be, because of that. Unless the jurors on there see through all the BS and realize what he is, that he's an evil person and that he did this atrocity, this scar on American history, and should do the right thing and take him out of history, do what they need to do, and, give him death, the progressives and their media lapdogs are going to let him get out. You watch. It'll happen. Like I said, unless the jury acts on it. Progressives, yet again, take a tragedy like this and they use it for their political agenda. Sandy Hook, just look at it. Sandy Hook, they don't even let a week go by and let people grieve right before they got a camera shoved into a family member's face. And, get what they want. And it's very funny to me, and very interesting to me, that Mr. Roger here, Elliot Rogers is his name, and don't ever forget it. I hear too many people say, we don't even want to hear this guy's name. No, I want to hear his name, because people should be remembered for what they did. Good or bad. Good or bad. The victims should be remembered for who they were. For what kind of people they could have been. Because this monster took them out of this life. Who knows what these people could have been. One of these people could have been a doctor and found the cure for cancer. Found a cure for AIDS. Found a cure for, whatever. Could have been, one of these people could have been the next greatest person, greatest president of the United States. Or just been a good dad or a good mom. That's a shame. But hardly mentioned in all of that were the 3 people that this maniac, that this evil person stabbed to death. Hardly mentioned. Why? Because it wasn't a gun. Now, of course, you're going to have a progressive like Al Sharpton on there, when that evil person in China decided to cut up a bunch of school kids. You remember that? You remember what Al Sharpton said? It kind of gets you into the mind of the progressive. He said, well, we will ban them too. I remember him saying that. Enough said. They want to take everything. They want to take your right to defend yourself away from you. Why? It says in the Declaration of Independence, you have a right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Those are unalienable rights. It means every person has them. Why do you take the right to defend that away if you're not planning on taking that away? Something to think about. Subjugation. Slavery to a total government. And as always, how did this end up? It took a gun to end the killings. Almost in each and every one of these cases, it takes a gun. Whether it be the perpetrator's gun or a law enforcement official's gun to end it. And the reason why these cowards turn the guns on themselves is because they can't stand the idea that they're going to be held accountable for their actions. They can't stand the fact. They've gotten so far over the top that they don't believe that they should be held accountable. Apparently this Elliot Roger hated women because women wouldn't date him. I wonder why there. And apparently he hated the men that they dated. So he was motivated out of hatred, not mental illness. We condemn the Nazis for hating Jews. We condemn racists for hating different races. So apparently, he's fits in along those lines. He wasn't mentally ill. He was just an evil person. And yet again, it took a gun to end it. So why do we want to take away the one thing that we have to defend ourselves? Are we going to throw ourselves on the mercy of these killers? Is that what progressives want us to do? They want us to throw ourselves on the mercy of these people? Please don't shoot me. I'm sure there was a lot of people saying that. And what happened to them? They got shot anyway. I want to be that person. I'm pointing a gun right at him, and I'm like, you're not taking me. The greatest fear I have as a father is not being able to see my son tomorrow. To not be able to talk to my son tomorrow. To not be able to see my son grow up and get married to a wonderful woman. For him to have a family and to have the same appreciation, the same joy that I have in watching him grow up. I want to eventually have grandchildren. And I hope my son, if he's ever put in that position, would defend himself. Because, sometimes the police just can't get there. I'm sorry, they're not everywhere. This is not the Minority Report. We don't live in the Minority Report. I don't care how many times the progressive media, the progressive film industry or whatever try to put it out there that, oh, these things can be prevented. No, they can't be prevented, but they can be stopped. Dead in their tracks, stopped by an armed citizen, law-abiding citizen, who takes it upon themselves to defend themselves and defend the lives of others. And we should not be punished. We should not be labeled for what we do. So many times I have heard progressives say, we cannot blame Islam for the acts of a few. Well, then why do we blame gun owners for the acts of a few? It's the same thing. Like I said, I hope that in the future my son has a way to defend himself, has a choice to defend himself, to be able to own a gun, to be able to say, thanks, Mr. Police Officer, but I got this if I have to. I hope he never has to live that. I hope he never has to defend himself like that. But I want him to have the choice to be able to, not to be at the mercy of an evil monster like Elliot Rodger, like Adam Lanza, like James Holmes, and all the other evil people that have come before them. And maybe, just maybe, if there's enough people out there who are willing to defend themselves and the lives of others, maybe that will act as a deterrent instead of a so-called gun-free kill zone. Oh, there's no guns allowed in here. I'm sure a criminal will abide by that. Never happened. Yet again, I'd like to wish my condolences and my heartfelt sympathies of my family to the families of the victims who were killed and injured in this just evil attack. I'd like to thank you for viewing this video. I welcome your comments, but I ask that you keep the conversation civil. Remember the golden rule. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you will subscribe to this channel. And this is a continuing video response to the California shootings of a Mr. Elliot Rodger. And of course, I'm going to add this on to the video I've already made, so it's going to be rolled into it. But the other day when I was leaving for work, I heard something. The channel was on NBC Morning News and the national news, and they just said something, and my jaw just hit the floor. I couldn't believe it. It was just unbelievable to me. And I'll kind of explain to you what was going on. I come into the living room. The TV was already on, and like I said, it was already on NBC. Or no, I changed it on NBC. That was my fault. It was on another channel, and I changed it to NBC to get the weather for the day and all that, and get my morning started off right, however you want to put it. But anyways, I go into the kitchen and I'm making my lunch for work, and I hear them start talking about this Elliot Rodger guy. And I hear the lady say that she felt sorry for him. And that kind of caught my attention. I was just like, did she just say what I think she just said? I'm like, maybe I ought to pay a little closer, pay attention to this. So sure enough, they come back on after a commercial, and she gets, they show the same YouTube video of his where he's sitting in his car with the sun in his face, and he's sitting there talking about how he hates women and how he can't get him a girlfriend, and I wonder why. Maybe you should have been focusing on yourself instead of thinking about getting a woman, But anyways, it's talking about how he hates people and all this and that. And then, of course, he does what he does. He stabs 3 people and then goes on a shooting spree. And this morning anchor says, and I quote, "It's a sad situation all the way around. I feel so sorry for him." What? Well, surely to goodness, my ears did not hear what I just heard. Did she say she felt sorry for him, or did she feel sorry for the victims that he killed? No, she didn't. She felt sorry for him. And I immediately went into complete just raging. This is what's wrong with the world today. They want you to feel sorry for these evil people. This man was not sick. This man did not have anything wrong with him. He was just an evil person who decided he wanted to go on a killing spree. That's who he was. And when we start calling these people sick and all this other stuff and sorrowful and all this other stuff and call them what they are, which is evil people, the better off we will be. I still can't believe it. I'm still in shock. And I'm sitting here and I think about these poor victims' families who are sitting here probably watching this newscast and hearing this woman say that she feels sorry for the person that shot their babies. I'm sorry, but, I know. I mean, you lost that right to being felt sorry for when you went on a killing spree. I might have felt sorry for you, if y'all was talking to you, oh man, I can't get me a girl or whatever, And I might feel sorry for you then, or I might feel sorry if you did something dumb like shoot yourself in the head or something like that, But I'm not going to feel sorry for you if you go off and kill a bunch of people and then kill yourself. You don't deserve sorrow for that. You don't even deserve pity for that. You deserve to be called exactly what you are, and that's an evil person. And I just get so sick of these people trying to humanize these people in a way, I guess, and then dehumanize me as a gun owner for what they did. What that guy did was evil, pure evil. And then you want to associate that with me, who I'm a law-abiding gun owner. And it makes me look bad when people like this go off and do this crazy stuff. And it makes me angry when people get on here and say stuff like that. And I'm just like, okay, you feel sorry for him, but you will jump on a gun owner in a heartbeat, on a law-abiding gun owner who has done absolutely nothing wrong in a heartbeat just for owning a gun. It wasn't this kid's fault. The gun made him do it. It was all the gun's fault. This kid, he was listening to the voices coming from the gun. Give me a break. And it's just this kind of a thing. And it seems like they do this now with every one of these mass shooters. They always try to they concentrate on their story so much. It's like, I don't even want to hear about this guy. So what if he couldn't get him a girlfriend? So what if he hated it when he seen, people kissing in public? Who cares that his dad wouldn't buy him a Ferrari when he, got him a BMW or whatever? Who cares that the kid thought it was his destiny to win the lottery and all this stuff? I could care less. What I care about is those poor people who died. What about their stories? I don't see them being thrown out here on the news. I hardly even know the names of a few. I think I know the name of one person that got shot in that. And that was just because of what his dad was saying. And I just, it's like, talk about them. Don't, you know, I mean, yeah, you need to give this Elliot Rodger the credit for what he is, which is an evil person. Yeah, he needs to be remembered for what he did, but he doesn't need to be glorified for it. And that's why I feel like these people get glorified for it on the progressive media, in the progressive media, because it serves their agenda. And their agenda is to humanize these people, make them think, make all the other people out in the world who haven't made their minds up about guns yet, oh, you know, this kid, he was perfectly fine until the gun came into the picture. It wasn't his actions. It wasn't his train of thought. It was the gun. You know, it was this telling him to do it. It was this. Can you hear it speaking to you, folks? Listen to it. Shh. Shh. That's background noise, by the way. It ain't the gun. It's stupid. Stupid. By the way, this is pointing in a safe direction. Stupid. Put that back up. That's been sitting on my hip the whole time and ain't told me to shoot anybody yet. But that's what the progressive media wants you to believe. That's what the progressive media wants you to believe. Oh, it was the gun that made him do it. He went on a shooting spree because the voices from the gun told him to do it. BS. It's just an agenda. It's just an agenda. And it's sad that it's gotten to this point to where you got national anchor people talking about they feel sorry for a mass shooter. Don't feel sorry for the guy. My gosh. I couldn't believe it. I'm still infuriated. Even right now, I get infuriated just talking about this. It is ridiculous. It's a ridiculous notion. Just think what this guy might have taken away from us on this world. If these people would have been allowed to live, if one of these people would have had a firearm on them and defended themselves before this guy could carry out this plot. I mean, just think about it. One of these kids could have been the doctor that found the cure for cancer or AIDS or something. I think I said that in the first video. You know, there's no telling what these kids could have grown up to be. A great mom and dad whose children goes on to discover some amazing thing that helps humanity. You know, and now that's never going to be. Just the impact of all the lives touched by this Elliot Rodger, who in his own mind was a god, and he had the right to take someone's life when he did not. It was him. And it's just sad. It's just a sad state of affairs. I mean, I just, you know, when I see this kind of stuff, and when I see the way that the progressive media, you know, bends the truth, bends the you know, the story to fit their agenda and their master's agenda, it makes me sick. And that's why I get on here. That's why I get on YouTube. Even though I don't got very many subscribers right now, I hope that changes. I hope that maybe, you know, there's people out there who are willing to listen to my views, or who, you know, don't support those views, but just care to listen and debate the subject. Just to be able to get that word out, in my opinion, the part that everybody's missing. We need it. There's very few of us out there that's doing it, and we need it. Thank you for viewing this video. I welcome your comments, but I ask that you keep the conversation civil. Remember the golden rule. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you will subscribe to this channel. Good day.